Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 208 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom again. And I'm here with Sean Zatorksy from Daath, Sinsanum, um, Necrotic Flesh, Vented, and Wretched Pain. So, how are you doing today, Sean?
I'm good, man. You got all those almost. There's only about another like 10 more. No, I've had to narrow them down, obviously, since the Metal Blade thing. So it's just Vented, Velocitor, Sensanum, Doth, and then I have another project called Andy Ugly. But that's all I'm allowed to have anymore for the foreseeable future, unfortunately.
Yeah, Metal Archives needs to like fix their shit then.
Yeah, it hasn't. I'm sure it hasn't been updated. Yeah, I'm sure. I
Yeah.
tried to finish building out my Wikipedia, but unfortunately, they gave me an error, and they pulled it because they said it was too much. Like I was patting myself on my back because I created it. So I guess you're not allowed to do that.
Like they
I
give you
didn't know
shit
that.
for creating like your own Wikipedia page.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Yeah, they're like, it's self boosting or self promoting. I'm like, what? I mean, whatever, dude.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
I know who else is gonna do it for me?
Yeah. So, kind of like the format is, I pretty much want to do a rundown of your discography and talk about your musical history. So, kind of
Sure.
like growing up, what were like the first bands that got you into metal? What made you want to be a vocalist and keyboardist?
So I would say growing up, obviously, I hate to admit that my first two records, I believe, were MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice.
Can't touch this.
Um, yeah, come on. I mean, dude, that was the times. That's
Hey,
just what
it's
it
catchy
was.
songs.
Yeah.
It's catchy songs,
I
man.
mean, I was very young. I mean, come on. But my first metal record was "And Justice for All." And that kind of started the trend. And I got into Cannibal Corpse at a very early age, um, like probably earlier than I should have. And I remember that music used to like give me a headache, and I couldn't understand it. And then I kind of went into the new metal side of things. I'm a big new metal guy. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones. I mean, that was my era. I mean,
That
that's when I
that was the
grew up.
stuff
When
I
that
grew up with too.
Yeah, that's the era. I mean, that's, like, where were you getting tickets to? We're getting tickets to fucking Corn and Incubus and Head PE. That's the concert,
Yeah.
like, um, so obviously that kind of started a lot of my screaming days. I've been playing piano since I was, 6 or 7, so I guess I've kind of always had that in me. But, I used to, like I said, love Corn, so I was really obsessed
Yeah.
with Orgy and, the
Yeah.
synth side of things, obviously,
That's a
because of
name I
that
haven't
era,
heard in a minute.
right? Right?
Yeah.
Stitches and Blue Monday and dude, fuck that
Yeah.
was my jam. But yeah, so I guess as time progressed, I got into heavier music. I found Meshuggah at about 96, 97. A guy of mine, I went to high school with, he was Swedish. And he's like, dude, you wait till you hear this band. And so that pretty much changed everything for me dynamically. I started listening to heavier stuff as time went on. I started screaming like Jens, or Jens as much as I could. And then obviously the first Slipknot came out, and then that's when I really kind of
Yeah.
honed in on that Corey Taylor-esque type fry scream.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like I said, keys have been with me throughout my whole life. So
Nice. Now, a lot of people obviously know you from like Doth and stuff. Like,
yeah,
what was your
yeah.
bands like pre-Doth?
So pre-Doth was Local Days, obviously. I grew up in the Atlanta scene with Doth. So I watched them grow up. I was friends with them. I had a couple of bands. I had a band called Somewhere Gone. I also had a band called Lost in the Void. It's funny because we played shows with Doth, and AL would come and poach my members of my band to join his band. So at one point, my drummer actually tried out for Doth. Um, and my old bass player tried out to be the keyboard player in Doth. And then obviously one time when they were in Ozfest, I got a call from AL and he says, "Hey man, you want to start learning the stuff?" He came and saw a practice, I guess, like about a month before, and he goes, "I'd love to have you in the band. You really fit the style we're going for." And so that's how I actually got into Doth. But Local Days, I mean, man, shoot, I mean, I've been screaming and singing like an idiot for a long time before I got recognized for anything. So I would say they were very similar. They were more sing screamy, not metalcore, but more progressive, more kind of what Daath has turned into now, except with more singing, obviously. That's what my band sounded like before Daath.
Yeah. And so how did you end up joining the band? Because I believe you joined in 2008.
I technically joined in '07. That's when, I mean, well, not officially, but they had asked me, like I said, in the middle of Ozfest. Actually, so if I take you back, it was my band, some were gone, we were at a practice, and AL showed up. And obviously he had an ulterior motive. He was coming to watch me sing. And then after, the practice was over, he goes, "Man, I really wish you were in my band." And I'm like, "Well, fuck, dude, me too." And they were literally just releasing the record on Roadrunner at that point. And come to find out, I guess they had a lot of issues with the original vocalist. I don't want to go into any of that, but so they put him on the keys. And he stayed in the band for a while, Mike Cameron. And so then they brought in one of their friends, Sean, who actually didn't sing on the record at all. He basically they kind of told the fans, "Hey, this is the guy that was on the record," but he actually didn't sing a single word on the record. So it's funny to me when people are like, "Bring the old singer back." I'm like, that dude wouldn't do anything if he did. So I don't understand what that would get you. But anyway, so that happened. They went on tour. I kept in touch. He said, "Start learning the stuff." And then one day he gave me a call. I was the guitar guy at a music store, and he's like, "Hey man, if we needed you to quit your job, could you go on the road with us?" And I was like, "Well, sure. How many days do I have?" He goes, "3 days." So I said, "Well, shit." So I basically packed my stuff, learned. I went to a couple of practices, and I took off on the Dark Funeral Nagelfar tour with Daath. I had only played 3 or 4 shows with Daath before we played in front of Roadrunner, and I completely fucked up because the band fucked up. Because when you're with a band for a long time, you kind of learn the ins and outs. When someone messes up, you know where to pick up. You know how they play. You know what they're gonna do. And so we played in New York in front of Roadrunner, and Dark Funeral also played in front of their label. Um, and so they kind of put the drums to the side. They only gave us a certain amount of microphones. That's just how headliners are. And I fucked up. The band fucked up, and then Monty, the head of A&R, Roadrunner, was like, "I don't think this is the guy." And so I basically continued the tour, and they started doing auditions and whatnot. And it was kind of upsetting to me. I'm like, I'm out on the road. You didn't give me a fair chance. So I don't know. All the auditions were basically just to show face, but realistically, I was in the band the whole time. They told me, they're like, "Dude, I mean, look, we're touring with you. You're cool. That's half the battle. Like, we get along with you when we're touring. Like, what are we gonna do? Fly some dude in, tour with him, see if he's cool? Like, there's so much you have to, gel on." So at that point, yeah, at the end of that tour, basically, I did a podcast recently with AL, and we spoke about it. That AL said I was willing to get dropped from Roadrunner. And then funny enough, I posted that interview, and Monty replied, because him and I are friends now. He goes, "That's exactly why Daath got dropped from Roadrunner." That
Oh
show.
shit.
So anyways, that's how I got signed onto Daath. I did the record, and we kind of got licensed out to Century Media. And then the rest is really history, man. It's just been this ever growing progressive thing in my music career.
Yeah,
Never
but
say no.
yeah, but tell me about making your first record with the band The Concealers. I thought that was like a great album. Especially I remember hearing a Day of Endless Light. I thought that was a really good song. So what was that like, being like your first record with Daath?
It was difficult because I had never really done anything of that caliber before. A lot of, "Hey, show me stuff that you've done in your previous bands." And I'm like, "Here." And they're like, "Well, it's kind of okay." So I really had to branch out. I had to change my perspective. I had to step out of my comfort zone, so to speak. I had to listen to music I didn't traditionally listen to. I was literally listening to NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, anything Lady Gaga,
Yeah, nothing
even
wrong with that.
no, even Satyricon. I was just listening for big choruses, things that were catchy. And I really had to study it because I didn't really understand how to write a chorus like that back in the day. It was kind of a dream come true. That was in the old Roadrunner budget days. I think they paid us like 50 grand to do the record. And we basically lived at Jason's house for 2 months. Like, we lived there. I did nothing except make that record, which was cool. I mean, that's like what my dream always was. Like, I'd love to just live in a house, make a fucking record. and give it my all. And there was a lot of inner turmoil that happened. I think at one point we all butted heads, even with Jason, living together for 2 months. It was a chaotic record, man. It kind of came out of nowhere, and these guys had this, I guess, pent up because Daath had always been this kind of pet project of AL where he really did most of it, and then he kind of brought people in. Well, that was the first time everyone kind of had their own collective effort to give. So that's a full encompassing record of I got to do my part, Emil got to do his, Jeremy, Kevin, so on and so forth. It was very cool. It was obviously to me it was obviously the coolest fucking thing ever. I got my first official record I got to do released by Roadrunner and in a band that I grew up loving. I love those guys, man. I mean, I knew Daath when they were doing Child Says and AL was just passing out like little 2-song demos. Dude, but that dude, just to say, he would be at every fucking show in Atlanta and he would be passing out Daath demos.
Yeah.
Always. Everybody knew who he was in this the scene.
Yeah.
But so it was really cool, man. It was a once in a lifetime experience for sure. I've never had anything like that since then.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you all like played like the old Masquerade back in the day, and I
Oh
love that
yeah,
venue.
oh yeah, dude. Many times. That was my local band too. We would always like sell out tickets and play Heaven. And I remember AL actually came watched us play in Heaven, and meanwhile I didn't realize it, but he was trying to poach my drummer at the time. He was good. He was really good, but he lost it. He didn't do it. He didn't get the gig in Daath. It was a
Yeah.
very difficult gig. I'm not gonna lie, to be a drummer in that band.
Yeah, but like Heaven at like the old Masquerade, like I remember like a lot of people say like the floorboards going in there feels like a lot of people are scared like it would just like go under.
Oh, dude, yeah. When you would be in hell and the bands would play above you, you could hear them like. You'd look up and the floor would just be flexing as people were jumping.
Yeah. And
Hey, but I found something cool about that venue that I never knew that would have changed the world for me had I known it, and I
yeah.
would have cherished it so much more. I didn't realize Nirvana played there pre Nevermind and post Nevermind. So they
Yeah.
played there when all they had was Bleach, and then they played there right when Nevermind released. So, dude, it was insane to me to watch those shows. They're on YouTube.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
I
a
couldn't
couple of
believe it. I'm
those.
like, oh my god, dude! Kurt stood in the same fucking. I used to love that band growing up. Obviously, I was a huge Nirvana fan, but it was just really cool to me to realize that someone I looked up to so much in my younger life played the same stage as I did.
Yeah, I miss that old place. That's pretty much how I met like a lot of my friends there. And I've been to like the new one a bunch. I was actually there last night for a show, and I literally live like 35 minutes north of Atlanta. It's still like one of my favorite Atlanta venues,
Who'd you
period.
see last night?
I saw the August Burns Red, Brand of
Oh,
Sacrifice, Crystal Lake, and Spite.
oh,
Like,
awesome! Yeah, that's cool.
there's some
That must have been a good show. I was
hell
just
yeah.
there for Mayhem, because I do that project with Attila. So I
Oh
was
yeah,
there.
because I remember meeting you. I was actually at the Eastern in Atlanta.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't the Eastern. It wasn't. Wait, were you there? Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
I
remember
remember seeing you there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I saw you there.
Yeah, and that's how
Yeah.
I met you. Because I felt like you looked familiar, but then I mentioned you were talking about Sensatum, and I was like, I know you. You're Sean
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Zatorksy.
yeah, yeah. That's who you were. I know now. Yeah, because I was like, how the fuck did this guy?
Yeah,
No, 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 no. That was at the Eastern. You're right. No, the Masquerade was Venom. That's who I saw. I went to Venom Inc. at the
yeah,
Masquerade.
yeah. I
Yeah,
I sadly missed that but
it was okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. My buddy was doing merch that night, so he does merch for a bunch of these bands. So he was doing merch for Venom. So I was like,
Fuck,
yeah, I'll come pop up. But yeah, that's right. I remember now. I saw you at the Eastern. Fuck, Cannibal Corpse.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a great show. I remember seeing
yeah,
you
it
there,
was.
and I remember seeing like Braun from Mastodon walking
Yeah,
around.
Braun was there. Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
That was a hell of a show. That was like my 10th time seeing Cannibal Corpse.
Damn, they were good. The vocals were extremely loud at that show. My God, the
Yeah,
vocals were way too loud. I think at that venue. But
yeah,
normally that venue has really good sound.
yeah. It's like a huger venue than the Masquerade. It's like I pretty much because I like that and like the Tabernacle. It's like combined together.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It is that big. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I
especially
agree.
love how they sell food. Like they have like a little rooftop, like little
Yeah,
thing where
yeah,
you can
yeah.
get some
I
food.
love the bar up top. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But kind of like going into the next album, which is the self-titled, I like this album
Uh,
because usually when a band does like a self-titled album, I always feel like it's like a new era or a new change or a new start for the band. Was that sort of like the reason why it was self-titled?
um, that's a tough one. That was a very difficult record. That record basically broke up the band, unfortunately. That record destroyed the band internally, externally. There was a lot of logistics and a lot of bullshit, I think, from everyone internally. Um, it You can hear the aggression, you can hear the struggle. Some of the songs weren't very cohesive. I remember when I did that particular record, I actually, in the middle of doing the vocals, which is a funny story, this will translate to the next couple of Daath things. Starting with that record, I got in the first day to do vocals. I did one track. My laptop falls off of the stand and smacks face down on the ground.
Oh
I lose
shit.
all the vocals because this is before clouds really exist. I mean, they did, but it wasn't like how it is now. Everything backs up automatically, no matter what you do. Everything's in Google Drive, everything's in Office 365. So yeah, lost all the words to the record, had to rewrite the whole record basically like over the course of the next couple of weeks. Funny story, the new Daath stuff, let me see here, just show you, just because this is funny. So I
Yeah,
was doing
do
the new
tell.
Daath stuff, and sure enough,
Yeah, and I see me.
that would be a destroyed. That would be a destroyed screen. Now look up here.
Oh
Look at all
shit,
the
I see it
crap.
now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
holy shit, dude.
Yeah, so that was doing the next Daath record, right? The next three songs we did.
Yeah.
And then I just went and finished the record, broke my fucking phone because I'm like, I'm not bringing my laptop this time. I'm going to bring my phone. So I brought the phone on the stand, falls off the stand as well, shatters the screen.
Damn,
So the
dude.
last three Daath things I've done have destroyed my technology. But yeah, so anyways, that record, we were really trying to go out exactly like you said, trying to have a new era, branched out. The whole element was let's write lyrics that are more sex, drugs, and rock and roll as opposed to this whole I don't know tree of life and all of that. So that's kind of what that record was. It was more a fuck you to the old, and I guess a bringing out of the new, kind of like you said, because that's why I completely changed lyrics. Dude, we would spend so much time coming up with different voices because we didn't all want it to be one tone. Like I would stand in a corner and have a cup and scream up at a microphone on the ceiling to get like specific tones and sounds. So we really stepped outside of the box with that one. But like I said, unfortunately, at the same time, it kind of fucked us up as a band. And I think we only did what one tour, two tours after that, and then we split. So,
Yeah.
sadly, it's a great album, but also at the same time, it it tore us apart.
But then I think it was like after that you actually joined Chimera. So how'd you get to join the band and know Mark and the guys?
Well, that was because we had toured with them previously. So we toured in '09 with them, and then Emil filled in on guitar for Matt when he had a baby. So we became, close. I became really good friends with Mark. And then when we did the tour with Impending Doom and Chimera and Daath, Emil filled in on bass. So again, it was like, oh, we were just back to being friends again. And I actually spent most of that tour in the bus with Mark, more so than I did with my own band. So like we would travel to the next gig and he's like, we got an extra bunk, man, just sleep there. So obviously we became really good friends. We were smoking buddies. Yeah, and then once Daath ended in 10, I got a call in the middle of 11, like, hey man, would you want to do keys and vocals for Chimera? And I said, sure, Mark. So that started the Chimera era, my Eras tour.
Yeah.
That started the Chimera era, and yeah, that went on for 4 years. I was in Chimera, did a full record with them, and
Yeah, this
um,
record right here.
yeah, it's a great record,
I
man.
like it.
I
Like nobody ever talks about this one.
It's weird, but there's so much depth to that record and so much emotion. And another record, like one passionate record to the next. That particular record to me holds so true in my heart. a lot of feelings, a lot of anger, a lot of anguish, a lot of like, you know, I mean, come on, man. I was obsessed with Chimera as a kid. I mean, there was a time I think in the course of 2 years, I think I saw Chimera like 20 times, me and my buddy. We would
Damn.
always go, you know, we'd always hang out. We'd always be the guys like rolling up blunts and trying to smoke with one of the members. You know, so in order to join that band just fucked me up because I'm like, I'm just some dude from Alpharetta. Like, how did I get in Chimera, dude?
Oh wow.
But yeah, I guess, you know, becoming friends and, you know, just being, I guess, okay to work with. But yeah, that particular record, if you listen to it, there's a lot of pain from everybody. We were all in pain, man, especially Mark. You know, he reinvented the band. You know, that was a new journey for me. I actually called Mark and I told him, I was like, look, man, I don't want to do the record. I told him that right before I was slated to fly up to do the record, and he's like, "Why?" And I go, "Because if I do the record, that commits me to touring with you guys, and the touring is just relentless. It fucks you up, man. It fucks you up in ways that people don't talk about, like the night before the tour when you just have anxiety and you can't eat, you can't sleep. You're like, all right, I guess I'm leaving all this behind. You know, I'm gonna be living out of a backpack for the next 2 months of my life and flying in horrible situations and sleeping in crazy places, you know. So I told him, I was like, look, I don't want to come up there and do the record because if I do, it obligates me. And he said to me, he's like, look, dude, I need you. You're my friend. You're my buddy. He's like, I want you here for this, you know, and I want to tour with you. So, you know, if that is any indication of the amount of pain I think we all were experiencing. I think we were all done. We had all come from bands that had just been touring and touring and touring. And then we jumped right into Chimera and we just started touring and touring and touring. And then, you know, it's like, hey, let's talk about making a record. So that is one of my more favorite records just because it was one of my favorite bands. Getting to scream on just about every song, like even if it's just a backing vocal. I even helped write lyrics.
Yeah.
I believe it's during is it Crown of Phantom?
Yeah, I got like the track.
Maybe
There's
it's
the track listing right
maybe
here.
it's no maybe it's No Mercy. No, I'm thinking of one specific song. Maybe it's Crown of Phantoms. There's a couple of lyric stab backs where he took lyrics from Daath just as like a, you know, like there actually is a lyric in that record like sharpening the blades because it was meant to be a callback to Daath stuff. So there's a lot of like little cool things, and you know, we definitely spent some snowy winter creating that record, and you know, I don't know. I love all those guys. They're still all such good dudes, man.
Yeah, and hard to believe that this year does mark 10 years of this album. And, you know, sadly after this, everybody would leave and then the
I
band would
can't
eventually
believe it's
break
been that
up.
long, dude.
Yeah, it feels
I
like
can't believe
yesterday. I remember getting this
I
at
can't,
Best Buy when it first came out.
same. I cannot believe it's been 10 years. That blows my mind. I mean, you know, that one, like I said, that holds a special place. Like when I listen to it, it brings out a lot of emotions. Like you know how music does. That particular one brings out a lot of like empty feelings, but also nostalgic feelings of moments and times that I really I wish were still around that I took for granted, you know.
Yeah. But then, of course, you did a little touring over this. But how hard was it to leave Chimera?
It was difficult. I only left because Emil left. Once I saw the news that Emil left, it was like, well, there's not really any chance of us like reforming this band again. So unfortunately, it was time to go. Sadly,
Yeah.
you know, like that. What can I do? And again, I had already had Sinsanum in the works because I had started working on Sinsanum in 14, 15, something like that. So I think that's when we recorded it. So I had already been writing the demos with Fred in like 13, in 12, 13, something like that. Because we had done one more tour with Chimera in 14, and I had pretty much had the whole record done for Sinsanum. So I was ready to go to that. I was ready. That was my next. I could already tell that's where my next step was. I didn't know where anybody else was, but you know, it's every man for himself. When it comes to that point, I was like, I'm jumping ship. See you guys. I'm out. But I
Yeah.
still love them all, and I wish I never quit. Honestly, man, I really wish it never ended.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is what it is. But tell me about like starting since Sam. So how'd you get to know like Fred and Attila and of course
I
Joey
feel like
Jordison?
I feel like everything is like a story with me. Jesus Christ. Uh, so so when Daath toured with Dragon Force in '09, it was our first big tour with me officially in the band and our record out was with Dragon Force and Cynic. Um, and I became really good friends. Again, I guess it's all about who you know. And never burn any bridges, stay friends with people, keep in touch. It's all about networking, being a musician. So yeah, I became really, really close friends with Fred, and he was a metal guy, and he could see I was a metal guy. And one day at the end of the tour, I think we were at the last show, the Norva in Virginia, and he goes, "Man, we should do a band one day." And everybody fucking says that. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, we should. Let's do a band, dude. Like everybody says that. And then honestly, I got a call from him one day. I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's going on?" And he goes, "Hey man, I'm looking to get this band together. We're gonna do kind of like a super group. It's gonna be me, Steph, from my buddy Flo. He's just naming off the band members. He goes, we're gonna have Attila from Mayhem, and we're gonna have Joey. Joey said he would do it, from Slipknot. And I'm like, okay, I'm interested. What are we talking about?" And he goes, "I'd love for you to be the other vocalist." And I was like, okay, cool, man. Sure, whatever. So he starts sending demos out, and Attila sent some stuff, and I'm thinking he's predominantly going to be the main vocalist, and I'm just going to be like a little seasoning here and there. And what Attila sends, I was like, it's not really my style, it's not my scene. I almost kind of backed out of it. But I'm like, let's just see where this goes. I mean, come on, Joey's in it, whatever, man. It'll be good no matter what. So I start writing, and obviously the first record becomes very sacrilegious, so
Yeah.
to speak. We kind of went with that, yeah, inverted cross. We went in that whole realm of now that is actually my all-time favorite record of all time, just
Yeah.
because
That's how I first heard of
uh
Sinsanum, was this album.
yeah, I mean that's my baby right there. That's my uh dark side of the moon, so to speak. That's, you put it on from the beginning to the end. There's all kinds of weird shit and weird songs and weird interludes and weird intros, and it's a whole experience, honestly. You just listen to it from start to end.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I decided to start doing some vocals for it, and it just slowly pieced together. And those fucking lyrics and songs came out of nowhere, dude. I don't know what was in me. I think it had just been pent up for years. Um, but Fred and I really dove into writing those songs. That was a mainly Fred and I effort, that record. Steph did a lot of the guitar work and a lot of the like little special secret sounds, and it was everybody's collective effort. But Fred and I did a lot of the main writing part as far as music and lyrics. He also helped with lyrics too. So that record to me is, I mean, dude, that's my baby right there.
Yeah.
And Joey, being able to be in a band with Joey. At that time,
Yeah.
he was still signed to Roadrunner. They were really picky about our release schedule. So we had that record done for a year and a half before we could release it, because Roadrunner wanted first. So they released Vimic, and then we had to wait like 6 months or something after they released Vimic for us to even be able to mention Sinsanum. And then finally came time that we were able to mention it, but we had already went and shot music videos. We had finished the record. We had done press photos. I mean, we were ready, dude.
Yeah.
Um, but that one obviously instills a lot of really dark emotions, because I know at that time Joey was really going through a lot. He was only slowly recovering. He had only been out of Slipknot a couple years.
Yeah.
He really missed Paul. Like, he would always talk about Paul. But for me, it was crazy because I got to be like a fanboy for a few times. And then, obviously I got to know him better, and then that went away. I wasn't
Yeah.
always like, so dude, when you did your first tour with Slipknot, like, I had
Yeah.
so many questions. I was that
Yeah.
dude, man. It went
Yeah.
away eventually. And then I would just be like, what? Why are you calling me? It
Yeah.
went from like, so when you guys first did Slipknot to like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I know that.
Fuck, man.
Like, hey, I grew up with Slipknot. Like, my first two concerts were Slipknot when I was like 14, 15.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool. I mean, dude, that's how I learned. That was where I got a lot of my scream from, was those Corey days. I wanted to emulate that scream, that
yeah.
first record. So that's where
Yeah.
a lot of my current sound comes from.
Yeah,
Is
if you
that?
if like, and they were on fire back then. God, I wish I would have been like 10 years older to see them in like Ozfest days.
Oh, dude, they were like, I remember seeing them local band days when they, well, not local band, but Days, but they hadn't really blown up yet, and they were still playing Masquerade in Heaven. So it
Yeah,
was, and it wasn't even a sold out show. It was Slipknot, Cold Chamber, Amen, Machine Head with a Rue
I
era.
remember that.
And that was the Burning Red. Yeah, that was
I've
Burning Red hip
and
hop
there was a
era.
photo online of them. I think it was like Corey in like a cage or something. And then apparently that was like the old Masquerade was where that was taken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's dude. That was a great show, man. That was a
Yeah,
great. I remember a fight almost happened, and like all nine of those dudes got up on that stage. It was insane.
damn.
No, you would never see him like that again. Fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. See, they look like they came from like a mental hospital.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen. I remember seeing like the first time I saw them was I was like 14 years old. I went. My first concert was the Mayhem Fest '08. I remember my dad taking me, and since then I was
Hey,
like, whoa, that was awesome.
I did. I went to Mayhem '08. That was one of the ones I went to. That was
Oh
a good
no
one.
shit.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I went to the Atlanta one, the Mayhem '08.
Yeah, that was my first concert ever. Almost
Really?
15 years ago.
Dragon Force was actually at that one.
Yeah.
That was the one that, yeah, that was how I got to hang out with Fred even more. That's actually what solidified the Joey and Fred hanging out was that Mayhem '08 tour, because that's when they got like, they kind of started talking about Morbid Angel and stuff was around those. So that's how he became friends with Joey. So that's actually what led to the beginnings of Sinsanum, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy how things end up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell me about making the next Sinsanum album, Repulsion for Humanity. What was that like going from Echoes of the Torture to Repulsion for Humanity?
It was a very frustrating record. Um, I remember those were the days of Joey being um, more concerned with his, maybe the best way to put it is he really wasn't feeling very musical at the time. So it was really a push to get him to do those. And I remember we waited for him to get the drums on that for a while before we got them. I remember that one particular was also a fight because we didn't really have Attila on it. We actually, you missed Ashes because Ashes was the one in between,
Oh yeah,
and Ashes
the
was the
EP.
EP where, yeah, where we, that was where I thought we were going to head in that direction of like the black and death metal, because that was the first real black and death metal album we had done. Because first album really wasn't as black and death metal. I felt it was just mostly death metal with some black metal seasonings. But Ashes definitely had that. And so in order to go from that to what this record was, this one was more, and I hate to say it, and it isn't, but it felt more new metal. It felt more like black and roll, which was good. And then we got into the next record, and that was the one of Repulsion where I felt like Joey wasn't as hurried to get his parts, you know. And it took us a while to get that one done. Attila didn't really have a lot of musical parts vocally, and that one felt more black and roll. It felt more poppy, more kind of mainstream. But I really, really enjoyed Repulsion for Humanity. I think it's a great record. I think it again, I guess every record is a piece of me. So I have certain emotions that, kind of wake up when I listen to certain things. And that one definitely instills a lot of that, um, like the darker area for the band, or the darker era for the band. Like we obviously Joey passing, that was his last record. The
Yeah.
last song we actually learned live together was Swan Song, My Swan Song. And obviously what that means in definition is My Swan Song is like basically your coup d'etat, your last song, your final, your finale. It's the last thing you ever do. So it was kind of creepy that that was the last song he technically learned,
Yeah.
was Swan Song. Yeah. But the record's great. I mean, I love it. I got to do a little more singing, and it kind of really set us up for the next Insanum album, which I literally have just parts where I'm just straight up singing. I kind of sound a lot like, I don't know. There are parts that sound kind of stone sour vocally, but that record you won't find anything about yet.
Yeah.
I have it all done in my hand right here. It's 15 songs. We already have the drummers recorded all his parts. Attila is actually recording his vocals next week. And this time I laid down a bunch of samples and stuff on the record. So that will be out next year. Vented will be out next year. That is another like 15 songs that'll come out next year. And then Daath will come out next year. That's another like 10 songs. So I have
Yeah.
a lot of music coming out next year.
Yeah. Like, how do you manage to like find a balance with like everything?
I don't do it all at once. Obviously, it comes naturally. So I only do it when I feel it. I don't force it. Um, I had finished Sinsanum in March of this year. And then once Sinsanum finished, Daath basically picked right up, and I had to start doing that. So I finished Daath by July, and then I flew to Sweden. We did all the mixing in August. Yeah, so that Daath record will release sometime mid next year.
Yeah. And who's playing drums for Sinsanum now since Joey's passed?
I unfortunately am not allowed to say that, so you'll
Yeah.
have to find out when the time
Yeah.
comes. Yeah, I wish I could. Yeah,
Yeah, because
sorry.
there's got to be some big shoes to fill.
Yes and no. I mean, at this point, I think no matter what we do, it's still going to pay tribute to Joey. So it doesn't necessarily have to be big shoes. It's more, it'll be a lot of like there is a dedicated song to Joey on this next record.
Yeah. But kind of wanted to go, flash forward to the next thing I want to talk about is Necrotic Flesh, because I know in 2020 you did the Volume 1 EP. Tell me about like
Yeah.
that. How'd you hook up with those guys?
That's actually just one guy. That's the guy I did the same band. I did that Sex Education with. We had a couple of bands going at one point. It basically took I guess it took place after all this Insanum stuff. Like basically once 2018 ended and we finished the tour, I was just looking to get in anything and everything. And so that was my buddy Simon. He also does the samples invented, but he said to me, he goes, "Man, I have a really cool idea for a project." I go, "What?" No lyrics, all freestyle, one take of everything. Like, all right. So that's what Necrotic Flesh is. I didn't even listen to the songs. I basically put them on. I put on a crazy distortion and just screamed through the whole record. No lyrics, no nothing, just one
Wow.
take. So it was just more fun. Yeah, just more to be fun.
Yeah. And then tell me about like making Velocitor, because I had no idea that was like one of your bands on there. So tell me about like that.
Yeah, so Velocitor is my 90s pet project I have with um another band that I've done which is called End of Days. It is a band with some guys from Australia. So um we did the guy from Australia was our liaison when Sinsanum toured in Australia. His name is Tim. And he like drove us around, kind of took care of us, picked us up from the airport, that kind of guy. So we did a project, probably like 19, I think, or 20. We did a couple of songs. And Velociter, I was working at a music school and they asked to submit music for a Spotify playlist that we do. And I said, you don't want me to submit any of my stuff. He goes, "Oh, yeah, you should submit stuff." So I gave him Daath. I'm like, here's Day of Endless Light. So he goes, "Oh, dude, I had no idea you were in these bands. We should, if you're ever interested, here's some stuff I do." And I said, "Dude, we should do a project." So next thing you know, I said to him, let's send me some stuff and let's start writing. And I said, I want it to be 90s. I want to like sing. I want it to be alternative. I want it to be grunge. I want it to be collective soul. I want it to be Deftones. Basically just want to play what I like to play. I don't care if it sucks. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, whatever. I like it. I like it. So that's one for me. That features Jimmy Nanarello. He's the guy who did all the website stuff for my old music school I worked at, Bach to Rock. And then we brought in the drummer from End of Days, who's in Australia. So, uh, dude, the latest song we did, Apocalypse October, um, it's so out there. It's like Tool meets, I don't know, man. Collective soul meets like something heavy. I can't really explain it, but
Yeah.
Velociter is like my pet project. That's my baby because I do it without any reservations. I don't care if it doesn't sound good. I just like doing it. So
Yeah.
that's the big thing for me.
Yeah, and I love like the album cover, especially like that first EP, Back to the Future. It looks very, very all futury. It kind of looks like something from like Back to the Future or something.
Well, that's the whole point of it. Yeah, and then the Velociter font is actually Blade Runner. So that's the
Oh,
whole thing. Is it's meant to be a callback to the 90s. And then as we go on, you'll listen and you'll hear a lot of the Linkin Park kind of influences that kind of flow through. Jimmy is an amazing content creator. So he's made, I think, a music video for every single song we've done. And he's basically been responsible for all of the album art, except for the last EP we did, Missing. That was a friend of mine. She did the artwork for that. Yeah, I like the vibe, the things. The first few kind of went through this whole space theme. So you go back to the future, then you you end up in space. It's Earth and Mars. Then the next one is I don't know if you remember that movie. What's the space movie with Matthew McConaughey?
I have no idea.
Not starts with an I, not interplanetary. That one. There's a scene in that movie where he's standing on a planet and the whole planet is water. And I think you age like 50 years or whatever, and the water is up to your ankles. That's the artwork for Genesis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So
Did you find it?
yeah, it was
Interstellar.
Interstellar. That was it. I had to like Google it.
Yeah, Interstellar. Yeah, so that's a very thematic band where we just kind of follow along these themes of like even the title of the song and the lyrics. You know, like you land on Earth, then you look up and you see the beautiful clouds, and then the next song is you're surrounded by water, and then the next song is you're drowning in the ocean, and then the next song is you're back in space. So I don't know. It features like very, very thematic type of writing style.
Yeah. And then tell me kind of like going into Vented. I know last year you did Cruelty and Corruption. Tell me about like making that album.
So that I had been talking to Joey about making another band because I met a guy from Hungary. He saw Insanum play. He watched, I had kept in touch with him. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to do a band with me?" And I said, "Sure. Let me see what you got." He sent me some stuff. He actually wanted me to just do one song. He did this project called Audio Nerve, where he would ask all these famous musicians to kind of contribute. So I did one song with him, and I loved it. And I said, "Dude, your writing and your guitar tone, like, do you have any more?" He goes, "Here's another one." So I send it back to him, and I said, "Do you have any more?" And yeah, I send it back to him. Eventually I came to we should do a band of this. I really like this a lot. And then I started, I knew a guy who does masks. So then I had a buddy do a mask of my face, kind of being like decrepit. I spoke to Joey. I said, "Would you want to do drums?" He helped me kind of design the logo a bit. He helped me refine the name. And he was actually going to do drums for it. Like I have all the text of him being like, "Yeah, dude, I'd love to. Just got to do this Insanum stuff first," talking about the new record. And then obviously he passed away like just a few weeks later when he was slated to do his drums. So it kind of became this pet project of, it reminds me of Machine Head and Chimera. That's what it reminds me of. And then it also reminds me of old Slipknot. So I really got to be that old school Corey Taylor vocalist. Like some of the screaming styles are just like, yeah. I'm literally like trying to be Iowa in like every
Yeah.
song. So that one actually did really well because of Joey's influence on it. And obviously people have a connection to Joey, so it did better just based on that. And a lot of like Joey fans that follow me, they really like that project. So then I asked Austin, the Devil Driver, Chimera drummer now, and he was in Bleed the Sky to do drums, and he just killed it, man. He just added this like gangster kind of hip hop flow to it, and it really reminds me of old Slipknot. A lot of the songs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then of course recently Daath got back together. So I'm pretty sure the one question I'm pretty sure everybody has been asking is what made you guys decide to come back?
AL had been talking about it for a while. We had spoken about possibly making the band back and what it would take. And then some time went on and it didn't really pan out. And then he said, "Hey man, it's that time again. You want to try to do some music?" And he said to me, "Hey, would you be interested?" And I said, "Look, this has to be the best thing I've ever worked on. Like my vocals need to sound better than they've ever sounded because everything up to this point, I have not been happy with how my vocals sound. Every project, every band, I've never been happy with my vocals. It's just an internal thing." And he said, "Yeah, we'll try to get you to the best, whatever we do." And I said, "Okay." So we did the songs. We spent like 10 grand of our own money. And we shopped around, and yeah, man, we had like three labels fighting for us. It was Century, Nuclear, and Metal Blade. And
Yeah.
then Metal Blade gave us the best deal. They understood what we were looking for. Um, and then, so yeah, they said go make six more. We want a full album. So they gave us a budget. We went back to all the same people when we made the record. Sadly, it doesn't include any of the original members. We gave them a chance, but it didn't seem like their hearts were in it. And obviously, a lot of old feelings from that self-titled record probably popped up, thinking this is probably how things will be again, when they obviously are not. I mean, we're all older. We're all just trying to make a good album, man. And unfortunately, those guys didn't want to be a part of it. So I personally made it my goal and mission to reach out to them to be like, dude, I really want you on this record, especially Emil. I had a 3 hour conversation with like, please, dude, will you be on the record? And we want you there. And his heart just wasn't in it, and that's all there is to it, man. He had other projects and people's schedules. It's just hard to dictate when people are free. So I think Jeremy was doing some stuff. He's running a big tour package thing now, and Kevin has kids now, and Emil's been really busy in the Nashville guitar scene. So it's tough to get everyone back together. So yeah, we said, well, let's continue on, and AL is the main writer of Daath. So all of those sounds, as you've noticed, if you listen to the new stuff, they all sound like old Daath because
Yeah.
that's basically AL.
Yeah. But tell me
So
about making
yeah,
your
dude.
Yeah, but tell me about making like your first like comeback single, No Rest, No End. I thought that was like a great return of the legendary Doth. So what was that song like recording and writing about? And how'd that come to be?
So the funny thing is, that was the easiest for me to write out of all the ones. That one I did in one take. The chorus almost stayed the same. Um, Obviously, the lyrics changed a little bit through time, but for me, for some reason, that song just friggin' clicked. It was in the writing style. It was in the A-B structure. It made sense to me. So my demo didn't really change much from the final product. I went to Andrew Wade. He obviously got some of the best takes out of me. We rewrote some of the verses and like some of the chorus structure, but a lot of it actually stayed, like I said, pretty true to the demo. So that was really cool to write. I had been sitting on that song for some time, so it was really difficult for me to keep my mouth shut. Like if anybody would ask who was a friend, like, what have you been up to? I'd be like, check this out. Check this out.
Yeah.
Let me just slide that right into your email. Check that out. But
Slide into your DMs.
it, yeah, but it was actually a really eye-opening song for me because my dad has always kind of been a fan of my music, and he really appreciated that. He's in a band, and he's in a band with like a bunch of guitar nerds, and they're just you know oozing over that song. Like we have 5 guitar players, and he's playing this structure and a symphony of a chord of a I don't know enough about that deep into the guitar. I've been playing for 20 years and I can play cowboy chords and sing to you, but I don't know when it comes to that Baroque style of, composing, and I don't know. So I guess to be a part of that was very, very cool. To work with Krim was very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
He's a
to
killer
work with
drummer.
Jesse and Dave, dude, all of those guys that are in the band now are just unbelievable. Spiro, Raphael, dude, even Dave on bass. If you watch the playthrough of that bass, I'm like, dude, he's like the best friggin' bass player I've ever seen play. And Raphael, the guitar work, and dude, Jesse on the symphony and his guitar work, and obviously AL, he's been, obviously, I'm impressed with AL, man, what he was able to write for this record. And some of the songs that he wrote, the other 6, I mean, they make the other 3 look like shit to me. Like, dude, they are some of the best shit I listen to those more than I listen to anything else. Like I get in the car and I'm like, right to the new track.
Yeah.
Right to the new stuff.
Yeah. But then I know you also did the cover of Death's the Philosopher. I thought that was a really good cover. What made you decide to cover that song in particular?
I didn't want to cover that song. He wanted to cover it, and I think somebody else in the band had wanted to cover it. So it was like I lost in the consensus. I wanted, or in the vote. I wanted to do like I don't know. There's so many, man. Scavenger of Human Sorrow. I wanted to do Symbolic. I wanted to do. what's the other one that I wanted to do? I don't know. I mean, I like that song, Philosopher. It just wasn't my top three. So I don't know. I think those are probably my more favorite of the death songs to cover. But he had a good point. He's like, we should cover it because it's popular. Most people associate with it. And when I heard what they did with it, my jaw like, okay. I didn't realize it was going to be that good. And then obviously when they said where the slime live, the whole thing about Sinsanum is it basically is new Morbid Angel. I mean, we're all obsessed with Morbid Angel. Like there is a riff in Splendor and Agony. It's literally a Morbid Angel riff in reverse. Like literally. Like I think the Morbid Angel is it's like the same fucking song. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not trying to hide the fact either. Like we are literally trying to be a Morbid Angel ripoff band. I mean,
Yeah. Hence I'm wearing a
yeah, I
literally
mean,
wearing
yeah,
a shirt.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So being able to do Slime Live for me was very cool.
Yeah.
Originally, we had done Domination. I don't know if you remember that. That was a long time ago. We got Johnny Davies from Job for Cowboy, and we
Yeah.
did. Is it Opium for the Masses? Yeah, Opium for the Masses, Hammer Smash Face, and Domination. We did the mashup song. It's called Fecal Finger. I don't
Wow.
know if you ever heard that. Yeah, Daath did that. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
a Cannibal Corpse cover and a Morbid Angel
I
cover.
might have
So
to like listen to that again after
it
this.
should be on Spotify. I don't know. Maybe I think the label may have made us pull it down, but
Yeah.
it may be up there. It may
Yeah.
be up there.
But still talking about the new songs, I want to also talk about Purified by Vengeance, another great song. Tell me about like that song.
That one I really don't remember so much. I don't remember the other two. I just remember it more of a blur. I remember there was a lot of stress to write those, because uh, I hadn't really written anything lyrically in a long time that actually was of merit. So these lyrics had to kind of follow along the old Daath. I mean, I pulled up the Kabbalah, I pulled up the Tree of Life. I started actually pulling from that again, just to kind of follow the same content and lyric structure of Concealers and Hinderers. So this really kind of follows in that realm. Have we announced the title? Do you know the title of the new record?
No, that's news to
Okay,
me.
good. I can't. Okay, yeah, I can't say it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you'll find out. It'll follow in the same vein chronologically. But those songs were great. Getting the guys to do the parts. I think that was the one. Purified was that Per Nilsson, or was that Mark Holcomb?
I think it was Per.
Perry, yeah. Okay, yeah, that was that one. That one I really liked a lot because it had the comeback at the end with the electronic part, and I really loved what Jesse did with all of the little saturations and little tweaks and stuff he did to all the sounds, man. That song's a great song. Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
And then of
And then
course
the other one is Mark Holcomb. Yeah,
yeah, the Silent Foray.
that's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one with
Yeah.
Holcomb, I believe. Yeah,
I
that one's
love that.
great, man. Yeah, me too. And I love Mark's parts too. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
They're all good, man. They all speak to me in a different way. But obviously, funny enough, I don't think any of those three are the best that are on the record.
Yeah.
So, of the 9 or 10, I believe we're releasing, those are my least favorite.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the new Daath album. Is it like you're trying to like continue on after the Salt Out, or being as it has been like 13 years, it's almost kind of like a new era or a new beginning for Daath in a way.
It is, yeah. It's a renaissance, man. It's a new beginning. I mean, obviously, we have to tour because we have commitment with the label to tour. We have a very cool deal, so we only have to tour a little bit, but we still do have to tour. So that will happen. Not sure if all the members will be able to be present, just because of schedules and everyone's already in other bands. But at least AL and I will be in just about, we will be at
Yeah.
every gig. But yeah, it'll follow along, and obviously, the deal we got with the label is a multi-album deal, so there will be more stuff down the line, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the plan.
and I'm really happy that you guys are back in action. I'm hoping you do like a comeback show at the Masquerade or something. That would be epic.
Nobody lives here anymore, man. Nobody. AL lives in Milwaukee now, and I'm the only one that lives here. So,
Yeah.
but that's yeah. But maybe you never know. His parents and stuff still live here. I think his brother still lives here, so you never know.
Awesome. So thank you, Sean, for this conversation. It was great to be able to
Of
chat with
course.
you. There's just
Yeah, of
anything
course, Richard.
else you want to plug or promote to anybody that is watching this?
Um, I mean, I have my Patreon, obviously. So if you're looking for behind the scenes content, you can always check my Patreon out. It's actually Sean Z Heavy Vocals. And as I get closer to doing touring stuff, there'll be a lot of behind the scenes content that you'll be able to see, like stuff that I won't necessarily post that I'll probably keep more for the pay crowd, some of the dumb stuff, some of like the watching me jump on stage or something like that. I'll keep that. But other than that, yeah, I have a lot of records coming out. Vented comes out next year. Sanum comes out next year. The new Daath comes out next year. I've got new Velociter, and then I'm also in that project with Pepe and the Ugly. That's the guy who filled in for us when we toured Europe, and he also is in a band called King, Kyng. So I actually did a project with him. It's like a thrash project. So I got a lot coming out next year. If you aren't tired of hearing me talk by now, and you aren't tired of hearing me scream, check any one of those things out.
Yeah. So thank you, Sean. So everybody, Sean Zatorksy from Daath. See you next time.